Yeah, I think there's points on both sides that are good. The Medusa is a wonderful counter against Chaos Knight. It's got one of the biggest matchup advantages just because you deal lots of AoE damage, so you can kill the illusions. You're super tanky, and you're not affected by minus armor nearly as much because of the way that Mana Shield works. And if the CK looks at you too long, your Stone Gaze instantly one-shots the illusions. And if you really want to deal with them, you can also buy an Axe as well, which will also let your Snake one-shot them. So there's lots of ways to deal with the CK. Ultimate is, and that's usually the area of the game where Chaos Knight is actually strong. But like Blitz pointed out, Fnatic's heroes are way better at ganking and rotating across the map. I think somebody on the panel, Mayman Haas, said that the OG draft picking Medusa would be a little bit too greedy, and I kind of agree with that as well, because a Lycan and a Death Prophet are okay at sometimes rotating, but having a Medusa as the other third hero means that their ability to move around, set tempo, is a little bit weak.
Yeah, how do we actually, so we talk about Fnatic, like, with their rotations, everything else. There was one hero which was slightly touched upon by the panel, which was the Night Stalker. Liz said, like, this hero feels kind of ridiculous right now. How does this work with the rotations of OG? How does Jirax make the same level of influence that he made with the SK in the last game?
Night Stalker is certainly good at ganking, but it's slightly more utility. He's tanky, he can silence you, he can nuke you usually twice per gank, but that's about it. So it's more of like a set up the team fight kind of thing while adding some disable, but he's not so much a strong damage dealer. So that means if Lycan has his ultimate, he fits into all this fine. He's going to be fast, he's going to deal a lot of damage. But Death Prophet is a little bit limited to using ideally Exorcism and ganks or Spirit Siphon, and Medusa is not very good at following up on ganks as well. So it's kind of a situational thing for OG, whether or not it'll work.
Good luck to JJ right now. You're going to have Darkseer as well as SK try and contest the bottom room while up on top. Highlight Die being forced away. Thunderstrike as well as Mystic Snake already done a lot of work. Trouble for S4. Spirit Siphon not giving enough life. Eternal Envy gains the first blood. Meanwhile, on bottom lane, the Iron Shell, Burrow Strikes are going to work. No-Tell, he's burning under these Iron Shells. Jirax tried to create more space, got Void off cooldown in 1 second time. They just turned their attention, not underneath the tower towards Jirax, but close enough. But Lycan, he has the Feral Impulse. So he'll sit behind the tower, munch on a tree, and then just get back into the laning phase. Only one death.
Yeah, he'll be fine here. Lots of tangos, 3 sets of regen for him, so he just has to focus on getting as many last hits and denies as possible. This will be very similar to Lycan earlier today, where he's against the lane that's going to harass him a lot. He just needs to outlast hit and regen through it. The pretty big mistake, though, for S4 going down. They thought they were going to be able to get a kill on Undying there, but he didn't start his Spirit Siphon before he got stunned by Envy, and as a result, he was way too low by the time he did cast it, and they ended up going down.
They'll have to do a lot of work to repair that. That's why Fly's on this top lane as well, to try and keep Highlight Die out of the lane, or at least off the back of S4.
That's the nice thing about Undying. He was played a little bit in the group stage. He just stabilizes your lanes because he steals a lot of health. Oh, look at that damage here.
Yeah, S4, he has to start the Spirit Siphon to get a little bit more life. Couple of stick charges up to sleep as well. Fly got another Thunderstrike available. S4, he's just waiting it out. Another decay. They'll come close to the tower. The stun will last long enough. Highlight Die, 16 strength stolen through decay. He is with plus 77. He will not be able to survive, however. Well, as Fly does the work.
At least they get the return kill on OG's side, but they've got to be a little upset with how this is going so far.
They're diving bottom so hard. DJ, he doesn't have Burrow Strike yet. 1 second, then he can consume the Mango and go for it. There it is, the Burrow Strike out. No-Tell doesn't have the regeneration, surviving. It's a full creep wave. Still under the tower, looking towards Jirax. Universe will just creep, skip it out, and keep this pressure consistently on the bottom lane.
Well, on the bright side, Jirax gets level 2 at least. That'll be nice in about 2 minutes, but so far this is the best way to deal with this. They just cut the creep wave with Iron Shells and 2 melee heroes, and then that means No-Tail to defend creeps under tower.
Nice of Jirax to cancel. So Universe has no more consumables apart from 1 Clarity, but he just bought a Soul Ring.
That's one little advantage they get. On the bright side on the mid lane, they've got 12 last hits on the Medusa. It's about equal with Abed though, so fairly even farming here.
I don't think anyone really wants to gank the mid, right? Like, there's no real kill that comes from a heavy rotation merely zoning.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. And I mean, mana drain against Dragon Knight is not the best anyways, because he has a low mana pool, so this is one of the better matchups I think you could get for a Dragon Knight.
TJ's having a little bit of fun with Jirax. Got the Arcane Rune, so Burrow Strike's a lot more efficient for him at the moment. So he started the harassment already, and once again we have almost a full creep wave allowing Fnatic to go underneath the tower. They saw Jirax move up into the trees.
They're a little limited on mana here. The Soul Ring hasn't been delivered yet, so if they had a second Iron Shell there, maybe they go for the dive, but for now, just going to stabilize a little bit. S4 is up to 7 last hits versus the 11-3 of Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight a hero that doesn't end up being super strong late unless he gets ahead, or at least is about equal, because he doesn't farm as fast naturally, so he needs to make sure that he has a good laning stage. That way he can be competitive against the difficult matchup of Medusa later on.
I love watching Death Prophets walking around with just over 300 HP when Decay continues to connect from Pylai Die. He'll need some mana to keep sustaining this, however. Can't keep burning through mangoes even if they are very efficient these days.
And that's what's so nice about this, is that it's just constantly a threat, because NB has a big stun here and some damage attached to it. They can run their opponents down. Death Prophet actually can't defend himself very well against this. It's just an ideal situation to be in.
No tell. He walked into DJ thinking he could harass him down pretty heavily, but it goes the other way when DJ has that level 2 Iron Shell on him.
Just makes Sand King so much stronger here. He's got 2 points in Feral Impulse, at least he's got 3 HP regen per second, but still got to be very careful, especially now that he's out of health regen.
Yep. Sit behind the tower. Have some wolves to fight for the cause, as Jirax as well as DK make a run for the rune. Arbed will take it. Jirax knows he doesn't want to fight this, but he at least wants to keep the attention of Arbed there while Dusa takes care of the mid lane.
Yeah, this is fine for him to do. He's very likely to go back to base anyway.
Those stuns. Jirax, pre-fire as well. He's going to mango and go for another void, but Arbed, he had the damage.
And that was all basically the courier delivering the soul ring. I mean, he was looking at his mana pool. Instantly, the soul ring comes, he gets mana, he gets everything off. So a bit of a mistake, though, by Jirax. He didn't necessarily need to trade there.
They're adding pressure on bottom. Fire strike onto Notel. And, well, Jirax back to World of Living and TP down to bottom. Creates that space for Notel to survive. And then looking towards the Darkseer, but Void, he's just not in range for it. So instead, it's over towards DJ. Cast it on him.
It's a little dangerous.
Nothing more to come.
He's got a Burrow Strike, but the Iron Shell's gone. So maybe they can get this kill, but Jirax CP'd bottom so fast he didn't have a moment to purchase any regen, and now everyone's so tough.
Pylai Die trying to run out. Okay, TP, yeah, will work, but a pointing glimpse. Fly was saving him for a rainy day. And it is raining on Pylai Die's head. Of course, do they still have the damage for this? Okay, you got another Crypt Form in a second, but Decay hits on 2. He'll put down the tombstone.
Oh my
God. From the head beam. S4. He had 452 HP, and that just seemed way too easy for CK to crit through it.
Pi picks up the level 4, throws the Soul Rip out for the damage. He had a 9-stick that whole time, so constantly ready for these fights. And this off lane or dual lane Death Prophet really is dangerous versus the Undying, because she just doesn't naturally have a huge amount of health, and she won't build into it for a bit. So he's just creating all these opportunities, and even though CK doesn't contribute that much damage in the laning stage, it's more than enough when his HP is this low.
There is so much money coming on the courier towards the mid lane, and most of it's coming in for Arbed. So welcome to Soul Ring. Headdress is there for Universe. They'll have a long way to go. This courier trying to move between all the lanes. Speaking of that, Jirax is going for a bit of a run all the way from bottom up towards the top. And I think they realize they have to try and change around the balance of this top lane, especially when it's first nighttime cycle. Jirax needs to have more of an influence against this Fnatic lineup.
Yeah, Fnatic is, or sorry, OG is definitely struggling in this laning stage now. They've kind of just sacrificed No-Tail, but he is going to hold the lane a bit. So he'll just try to kill the creep wave as fast as possible, try to stay alive if he's got level 3 wolves at least, so he's got a lot of damage output. This could allow him to last hit while he hides his hero in the trees if needed. But he constantly has to be careful here, and if Sand King just buggers off and goes somewhere else, ganks the top lane for example, things get really dangerous again. So it's just a constant threat and not nearly as much lane control as he had last game.
And Jirax actually just wants to try and attack in towards that bottom, so yep, goes after Universe, who pulled the creep wave over. Slowed up a little bit by the neutrals. Jirax can't get the body block off, has the void available, but with Universe having the 2 points up in Surge, he can run a decent way. And also, buy a little bit more time. DK rotates down as well. And I'll see him going, thanks to that one Radiant creep.
No-Tail's going to spot him, though.
Dragon Tail stun. SK's coming in close. That's a level 2. No-Tail, I don't think he's got time to actually go for the ultimate, because then the Fire Strike's able to connect. Movement speed on the run. Regeneration's good enough. And Disruptor flies now coming down. A 3-man wall will be there. Nightstalker wanted to fly over the hill, but he couldn't get far enough away. So Darkseer, even with the Thunder Strike on him, there is not enough damage to get a rebuttal. Nightstalker will die for heavy rotations towards the bot lane. But Medusa is not one of them. She's still farming up strong.
This is the best that they could do with what they had. If No-Tail doesn't ulti there, the Dragon Knight chases him down, so he has to pop his ultimate, and then unfortunately Jirax is getting caught as well as he rotates back in trying to help. So the pressure is just overwhelming from Fnatic right now. It's a 2k gold advantage, 6 kills for them. OG's going to try to respond and pick up something here, but they're just scrambling to stabilize their lanes.
Yep.
The only person that's doing well on their team is Seb. He's level 8, almost 9 on Medusa. He's got 61 last hits. By far the leader in the game right now.
Yeah, his CS is absolutely wonderful. It's the fact you've also got the level progression onto this Medusa. He hasn't had to move off the lane. At the same time, when you say, like, okay, he's been sitting in the mid lane, Abed's rotation, he's, like, including this, he's now 300 gold in front net worth-wise above that of the DK. And you can see right here on our graph as well. Just looking towards that mid, that's where Medusa goes, bounce off to the sides just for the early fight. The rest of it is neutral camp and farming up. Notel, TP out, DJ, Fire Strike's already been used, he cannot cancel it. And Abed could not reach it in time, Fly walled him.
So it's kind of cool to see how Abed's doing these rotations. I mean, in that case he had a haste rune, so it was very easy to do, but he's just going to be putting his hero presence down here. Level 9, got Soul Ring and Treads. This is like the period of time where Dragon Knight's like impossible to kill. He's got so much health on his heroes, and the enemy support duo is not very high damage. Both Disruptor and Night Stalker are heavily utility, so he just rotates down here. He messes with his opponents. It's going to force the Lycan to lead, and then all they had to do was teleport any hero mid to defend against the Medusa, which they have done. And as a result, OG just loses out, and their tower's going to fall.
Yep. Is that when you look to see like S4 doing a little bit more pressure on top? He has Crypt Swarm available if he wants to level it. For now, he's holding it. And they're bringing Lycan up here too. So yeah, it looks like OG are looking for a little bit more aggression as Exorcism, is leveled up, not Crypt Swarm.
Envy is baiting with his illusion. This is insane. This is a 145-second cooldown ultimate here.
Yeah,
and he baits him.
If they don't take the tower directly after this, they're going to be really, really annoying. 12 gold is what gets gained. It goes to S4.
Dude, that's amazing. He gets his ultimate off, he gets lucky and gets an extra illusion, so he keeps one to farm, and he puts the other one up there to try to bait good abilities out of his opponents. So
are they going to rotate to fight? They're coming in to hit
now.
The Observer Ward, so OG knows what's coming. They're already starting their movement back. The illusion will now time out.
I mean, that's basically what he accomplished there. By that illusion being there, they thought, oh man, Envy's out of position, he's making a mistake. We can dive this, we can kill him, and if we do that, we guarantee the tower kill. So they pop their big ultimates, including Exorcism. They get the kill, but then it's illusion, and they realize we just wasted 20 seconds on an illusion while Envy is farming. We don't get the tower, and they knew that by the time they would have finished it, Fnatic could have just rotated all the heroes, knowing their ultimates are on cooldown. This was like a super sick play by Envy here.
Never assume Envy is actually making a mistake. He cries wolf every now and then, gets caught out of position in late game, but in this case, it was a terrific play, and OG fell for it, and they hold their tier 1 town for the moment. Fire Strike, Fly, a little bit of trouble for him. Notel's going to TP down. Not a lot of mana to work with, and with Universe still pushing the line, pushing the envelope, it's difficult for OG to defend.
And again, Lycan needs his ultimate to contribute to ganks because he's not going to be very fast here. Yes, he's still farming all right. He's stabilized despite being in a really dangerous duel lane, but if that was any other carry that has any kind of lane contribution, they would have gone for a kill there. If it's a gyro, he jumps in, uses Rocket Barrage after they glimpse, but instead all he can do is make them walk away, and now they're just going somewhere else to get another gank.
Mid-fight time. Fnatic are forcing the issue. They've got 4 heroes here. The same thing can almost be said for OG.
Ooh, good snake.
Death Prophet as well as Lone Druid is out. That Mystic Snake causes problems for Fnatic. They don't really have a creep wave to work with, and they just lose so much mana and health. And Notel loves this. And we talked about how great Notel was when he played his Lone Druid previously, using the Baron, using this dominated creep to wash the side. Now he's got 2 Wolves to combine with the Alpha Wolf who's forcing the lane.
Yeah, this is the moment of the game that he's been waiting for the whole time, basically. Pushing out lanes, hiding in the shop area, he's going to be fairly safe doing this. And the other good thing going for OG is that with Medusa having this much farm, she's picked up her 10 perk, she has a Mask of Madness. That means if the dive comes and Fnatic is trying to take a team fight, they're going to have Stone Gaze, they're going to have Mask of Madness, right clicks that hit really hard.
Abed's coming back to fight in the mid lane, S4's nearby, who's got a stun? Anyone got a stun? No one's got a stun.
That would have been a huge kill there. And not only that, but he teleported the shrine. He was just going to farm, that's all. Nothing lost there.
I think Universe realizes he can't stand toe-to-toe with Lycan anymore. 3 points up in that Feral Impulse, he just starts beating the crap out of Universe.
Especially with the aura as well. He's basically increasing everybody's damage by like 80% with this helm.
And he managed to get the Alpha Wolf to slip out through the back of the bottom 2 after he TP'd. Turns his attention towards the top after adding pressure on bottom and forcing a rotation out from Fnatic.
So it feels like Fnatic had this huge lane advantage, but all of a sudden OG is stabilized in that. Like Lycan just got tons of farm pushing out the bot lane. They made sure that the mid tower didn't die with some smart denying. And now they actually, it takes so many resources for them to be able to kill Lycan, kind of similar to last game, except harder, because if he gets his ultimate off, he's out of there. Max movement speed, or more than max movement speed. It's like even more survivable than lone druid. So now OG is moving into their comfort zone where Fnatic doesn't have a big gold advantage.
And they're getting their strength items up. I'm looking at that Dragonlance almost completed for Seb. He's been spending the last couple of minutes just farming up the Ancient stack. Nightstalker, Jirax wants to try and make the most out this nighttime. Might regret it. Eternal Envy pulls it back in. The 3-second stun is out. S4 knows he can't help. Except the fact the Nightstalker is dead. And they may have to accept their tier 2 tower will die as well as Arbed walks underneath the Obs ward to move south.
I mean, in the meantime, OG is pushing up the top lane. Fly's looking to glimpse him back here. There he goes, sends it back. This is huge.
That's the tier 2 tower. Oh, he Burrow Strike dodges it again! DJ!
Well, different player this time, but
yeah,
still super sick. That's such a huge play, because if he gets sent back, they're just going to super hard commit to hitting that building, because now they know Sand King can't be there. Somebody else on Fnatic would have to TP back, and they lose this little momentum with this play. So amazing timing there with the Burrow Strike.
And that's the Annie gets your gun. Anything you can do, I can do better moment. Tier 2 tower drops on the bottom lane, so even though with the glimpse back, they did not take that top tower for OG, thanks to the stall of it. And Fnatic just continue to ensure they control this bottom lane. They'll love seeing the double damage rune and bot river too. Maybe not so love the fact that that dragon form will be on cooldown for a while after they get it. But they have initiation with Shadowblade arrival.
And they can at least, maybe Shadowblade look for a kill, and then they can spend time going for the Ancients instead. This is the huge play here. DJ comes back up to defend the tower. He goes for the glimpse. DJ actually looked at me like he was prepping for that the entire time.
Yep.
He TPs in, he stands there, he's waiting, he does not want to mess up the Burrow Strike, and he nails it. Gets to stay on the top lane and defend that push.
Arbed with that DD rune. Oh, he hit so hard. Goodbye, Disruptor. He actually taunted the door, the breathe fire.
Maybe he's out of taunt money, and that was all he could accomplish there. The only way to taunt. Oh, Courier.
Courier, well, after fortified up, DJ under the cover of Sandstorm. They have no reveal for this.
Very close to his Necro 1 at least, so his damage will be solid.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I actually really like about Chaos Knight this game is that they have another damage source, and it's Darkseer, so they can make his hero feel even more useful than normal. He's got Armlet ready. This is the item you need to make your hero do any damage, but they're going to follow him and go straight to where he's planning to farm. This is not good for Notel.
Yeah, they got the stuns, they got the pull back, and with the negative armor, Notel will fall. A 3-man gank, successful. While all this still happens, you still got the Medusa. She's so far ahead in net worth. I didn't realize that she's actually 2,000 ahead and continuously rising. Once Lincoln's comes up, initiating on her will be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, this is just the typical hero that's good at farming versus a team of heroes that aren't very good at farming. She just sits back, she does lots of AoE, and she hasn't been killed yet. She actually hasn't even participated in an enemy kill yet.
They're looking for the fight, go for the silence, onto the dark. See a Dragon Tail down from Arbed. Once again, Fly just wants to let the ulti off, and he'll actually get it. Wall and ulti, locking in the Dragon Knight, in with S4, who can finish the job. A nice streak to end. Further down the river, Eternal Envy on the run away from Jirax. Realizing this fight doesn't exist, instead it's actually in mid lane Universe. Back to the tier 2 tower. Without that disruptor, they don't have the punishment of the glimpse.
They're not going to push any farther than this, though. I mean, they
don't need to, right? Like, they got Lycan on the top lane farming.
That's true. And they traded a support for a enemy Dragon Knight. That's going to be a great grab there. So they're not too upset.
Fnatic want to fight?
They've got a blink on Sand King, by the way. They just found the Ancients that got cleared.
Oh, God.
Not able to spot the Medusa.
Not just cleared, it's another stack. Like, it was actually stacked up for the Medusa.
Good snag by
They may have trouble on top lane. Notail does not have TP scroll. He does not have wolf form. Once they see this, they realize what's going on. Epicenter being prepared, blink in. Burrow Strike and follow up. Universe with the Iron Shell burns. They have the dead Lycan.
Yep, they saved the Burrow Strike just in case he's going to go for a teleport. He didn't have it available, but they didn't know that. But it's very easy for Notail to buy out at least, so that's not the worst thing in the world that he ends up going down there.
Yeah.
What they need to do is, on OG's side, just make sure that Death Prophet gets relatively tanky so that she can survive if she's being focused on. Like something like getting in Yule's relatively fast, or an Aeon Disc after.
Oh, here we go again. Dusa with Mask of Madness. She's taking the Ancient stack. They have an Observer Ward down, so they know they're safe. If Undying wants to rotate over, welcome to Nightstalker. You'll actually have Dusa farming while killing. Tombstone on the high ground. They know how this will play out. Where's that Stone Gaze? Has to be triggered. Fnatic stormed up. They get the lock in, but only on Arbed, clipping a Pylai die. But there's not enough damage from Medusa. This will open up for the Burrow Strike to catch two. Back in. They didn't have the best control, however, but they've got the tankiness. Medusa, the shield, they'll burn through it. but Envy even makes more of himself to ensure it. Everyone else from OG wants to retreat. Stealing the Ancients would have been massive for them.
It would have been
got
huge,
half of it, I think.
But I think Seb is just getting a little bit too much confirmation bias from how successful he was with the previous Ancient. Oh, now we're going to see Fly get picked up by Abed, instantly getting the kill, shifting all the way to the mid lane, and instantly grabbing another support kill. So this tower is going to take some damage. But they definitely stayed way too long there. The Tomb on the high ground made things hard to engage. And ultimately, as soon as you pop your Dusa ultimate, people are going to walk away from you. But with Universe coming from the side, he was able to catch and get the follow-up disable. And something, we've seen this combo before. Darkseer was saying thing. Fnatic do this super well. Every vacuum is going to be a burrow strike, and it's going to be 2 heroes stunned on the enemy team. And that's going to make it really hard for OG to fight.
Eternal Envy denies the top tower. No money for No-Tail. Only lane positioning. He's going to lose his dominating creep too, so you get no money for the tower, and Envy gets the goal for the dominating creep in towards mid. Stun onto S4. Friends need to be nearby. They are for Fnatic. They are not for OG. Finally, that Eul Scepter is there, but it comes just a second too late.
Abed is just putting work in. He's just constantly pressuring around the map. With the Shadow Blade and the Soul Ring, and he went the mana perk as well. He actually has enough mana to afford to move around getting these kills. Look at this, he's been all over the map.
Yep.
He's the guy that's winning this game for Fnatic. I mean, it's 14-2, and he's just the one that's getting all the kills. He's setting these up.
The Lycanmorph is watching. Jirax is nearby. Death Prophet's up in just a couple of seconds. They want to protect these stacks and also farm up the Tombstone if possible.
It's a good bit of gold. You can snag it in time.
Well, they got 6 seconds. They have the time. Money goes into the hands of Jirax.
Incredible stat. My life is better knowing this.
I like how he gets to include in the history of Dota while I'm casting a game. Thanks, Nox. Thank you very, very much.
Necro 2 on the way for Lycan at least, so pretty soon he's going to better be able to deal with the Invis heroes in team fights, but it seems like the Shadow Blade is really the one thing that's creating space on the map. But with that said, there's been a lot of smoke usages on Fnatic in the last couple minutes, and I imagine they're a bit limited, and they need to continue getting these smoke gang kills because, again, their heroes are not going to outfarm heroes like Lycan and Medusa. And that's why OG's kind of just playing passively for now, because they don't have the best gankers, but they do have better farmers. They've got better matchups in the late game because of the Medusa versus both the Undying Tombstone and against the CK.
It seems like also the easiest way for OG, like you hold high ground, your high ground defense is wonderful for them, and it's very punishing if it goes badly for Fnatic, thanks to having a disruptor pickup. But then you have Lycan building Necro books. Lycan can just melt through a lane so quickly if Fnatic are down. And so one disastrous fight's going to hurt.
Same thing if you've got Exorcism ready. You can just instantly take towers, take Roshan, something like that.
They're looking towards bottom lane.
The pressure's finally here. Envy might get caught.
He used Rift to farm up the range creep, and then, well, yep, Yule's up, brought back down again to the Storm Wall. Eternal Envy, he gets into the trees. Will he survive? It's the Crimson Guard that arrive, but it's not going to be enough. Retreat back out again as Dusa moves forward. They'll take the tower. There's your glimpse. This is that punishment I was talking about. The Disruptor is so good at. And it's Abed, the big superstar of Fnatic. 3 heroes down. The danger zone is here. Kenny Loggins pushing up through the bottom lane.
Worst case scenario for Fnatic. The fact that they catch the CK like that guarantees his death. He picks up an Echo Saber second item. He's got a BKB.
They go up. They go up,
doesn't
right?
Die, but same with Abed. These guys just don't have BKBs, and they just made a huge mistake walking into the fight like that and getting killed one by one.
Look how hard they push with the Necro units behind it. This tier 3 tower, we're 21 minutes in and it's dying so quickly. If they just take this and back out without losing anything, which is exactly what they're going to do, they're fine. Darkseer wants to surge forward, but he got purged up. He can't even get his team into a position where they could possibly fight. OG, nothing lost, everything taken.
That was the biggest freebie game advantage I've seen in a long time. I mean, they instantly get a kill on the Chaos Knight with the Euls into Static Storm combo. They followed up with a tier 1 tower dying, an Undying dying, and then they got a tier 2 at the same time glimpsing back the enemy mid. And then they also got that's 3 towers instantly and all the kills they wanted. 2k gold advantage. They've only got 5 kills, but it really doesn't matter if they're on this kind of a trajectory.
Look at Fnatic now. They're looking towards Roshan. No exorcism for a minute. You have Lycan, who is on bottom lane, just adding pressure, that's all. But yeah, they're going for Roshan. Fnatic wants something to get back into this game, and they're going to try and get it.
They should be able to snag this, no problem. Jirax spotted, but I mean, they've got Undying Ultimate amplifying this. They've got a Medallion. They've got Reality Rift amplifying it.
Great Observer in Century 2 prep Fnatic for this fight. Darkseer's outside, and yep, OG will let him have it. Aegis the Immortal into the hands of the Chaos Knight. They have to make this work, but they have to repair their lanes as well. You've got Notel going in through the bottom, and it's a creep wave and a half going in through the top, giving Notel that ability just to creep skip it out. He starts his TP, lets the Wolves and the Necro units do the work. Darkseer actually can't stop this in time. They may lose the melee racks. Durax will die as well. But this is that bottom range, bottom melee racks. One Necro Archer, 73 HP the racks is brought down to.
Crimson Guard buff, and that's the melee barracks. They actually might want to commit something to trying to kill that since it's so low, but I mean, either way, OG got a lot out of that fight. Not all bad. They did lose Jarex as well, but top tier 3s also took a lot of damage from a big push there.
Fnatic once again being split defense-wise against OG. So they had the Aegis Immortal, but like you've just wasted a minute of that Aegis time.
Well, I'm not so worried about the Aegis time. It's more like, it's interesting to watch how the tempo has gone. OG got a huge fight, they use their ultimates, they get a bunch of advantage. Fnatic knows that they just use their ultimates, so they commit their ultimates to kill Roshan. And now OG knows that Fnatic just used their ultimates, and now it's okay for them to pressure. So they may just go passive here as a result of the Aegis, but I honestly wouldn't even be that worried right now. Like, that's a CK Aegis. Who cares? He doesn't have his ultimate.
It's Medusa still stretching further ahead, now almost a 5,000 net worth advantage over any of the other cores of Fnatic. Having Hurricane Pike, Mask of Madness, the Lincoln Sphere, and working towards the Eye of Skadi next.
Yep, he has played very defensive in terms of items, other than like the Mask of Madness, but he's been basically gone fully core, normal item build, and it's just giving him a big advantage.
You see the difference between him and that DK as well. Like, DK's been moving around, has been fantastic, but the effectiveness of Arbed starts to drop off when all Seb has to do is just survive in the front lines, be problematic, and the push power comes from Lycan and Death Prophet. This 3-core lineup of OG has just been given the space to hit so hard in that 20 to 35 minute mark, which is the classic OG. And even the CP out. Whoa, he found him. Burrow strikes into the tree line. Catch out the target, Notel. He'll burn the shapeshift to run away.
So rotation is used there by Fnatic. They get scouted, they lose like an ultimate, but that's about it. Crossing the map from the other side. I mean, the biggest thing is just that Medusa has double the creeps killed than any other hero on the Dire team. Like, Fnatic cannot kill creeps rapidly. Dragon Knight can when he uses his level 2 ultimate, but you're not going to use that just to farm. So he's had to move around, getting kills to set tempo, and the hero they needed to shut down was Medusa this game, in all reality. They put a lot of focus on Lycan, they put some focus on Death Prophet, but they were never successful on Medusa.
Terrific scan, right exactly where Fnatic are running up at them, and they just back off, and Fnatic, like, they could so many wards around Roshan. They have 3 wards covering the southern part of Roshan. So they know exactly where OG moves there, but that doesn't matter now. Like, they can't keep track of when OG bail off the lane.
That was another cool thing about them even hitting the shrine there. It wasn't really the best time to do so, especially because they knew Lycan ulti was used. But if they were just bottom right next to Lycan, you know that, and then you go to hit the shrine, you can estimate about what time they're going to be across the map to even to get to the shrine area. So they can easily time the scan if they're thinking about it, and boom, another smoke is wasted. They're just making Fnatic cross the map endlessly against heroes that aren't Medusa. And in the meantime, Medusa slaps creeps and still gets more farm from them.
I think Fnatic are trying to stop these ancient stacks from being farmed up. They bring everybody together to try and fight it. Lycan still pressuring in bottom lane, and they start their farming of the Ancient stack. OG will back off from this. Fnatic want to have a fight. The Ancients are a good reason to do so. And here comes nighttime. They're a little bit scared. They back off. They didn't get enough of the Ancients. So then Glimpse.
Yep.
Punishment's there. Highlight Eye, come on home. As he gets silenced up. At level 3, he just cannot do anything, and the chase continues. Night Stalker keeping on the tails. He'll find Universe in the rotation. Remember that pressure on bottom lane? It's now moved towards the mid. Notel, howls, runs away. He perched up Universe pretty quickly, but they realize they don't want this fight. The rest of OG are too far away.
Oh, and Chaos Knight popped his ultimate. I think they spotted that, maybe with help from Night Stalker, and as a result, again, Envy's ultimate, he is now going to be a crappy Chaos Knight again, because he's just going to be his own hero. No BKB yet. It's, I believe, finished at least, so he's got it now, but
you've got a BKB Chaos Knight with 2 minutes on cooldown for your Phantasm, and your Undying just fought back as well. So that was the signal for OG to retreat.
Yeah, if Undying could have gotten in that fight, if they could have committed and forced OG to take an engagement, it would have been all right. And maybe the mistake there was that Fnatic was kind of committing to a 3-stack or a 4-stack. I don't think taking stacks away from your opponents is going to give you the victory. They need to kill heroes. And because they had to sit there in a weak position, hitting neutrals, all it took was Night Stalker running forward, popping his ultimate, And that's the vision that you need to get a glimpse of. And instantly, they just picked a support. They didn't even want to go for a core. They're like, let's take this super easy kill without forcing a fight while we also outfarm them.
The Jaeger's time's out. They drop down their sentry, so Arbeck can close the distance. Going after Jirax. S4 pops the Exorcism, looking for the fight. Tombstone very close to the front line, so OG can deal with it. You see Seb doing the work while Arbeck locked inside the kinetic field with the Storm on top of him. No way to escape. This was meant to be Fnatic finding that weird window as the Aegis expired. But they do not get it. In fact, now they're defending their tier 2 tower in mid, and Eternal Envy a little bit too far forward. Does he have anything to try and survive this? With the BKB, he goes after Seb, but only breaks the Lincoln Spear with his stun. And the back of the wall is great from Universe. The clearance is there from Seb. He's doing the split shot just to ensure they can actually get rid of these units, but they're too strong with the pullback. Eternal Envy picks off S4, they turn for the Burrow Strike, and this is a big one. This is the huge one. Can they bring down the Deucer? It looks like it. Deucer's trying to do as much back, but it will finally fall.
Envy dice bottom? What just happened?
N0tail is trying to take the rack. Actually, he's doing it again. The units are attacking it. Eternal Envy, it's like he just jumped to bottom lane to try and defend against the Lycan, but there was just too much there.
I think he was teleporting bottom to try to stop Lycan from getting away, but he was being attacked the whole time by Medusa and didn't realize because he just disappeared. Then all of a sudden he's bottoming and dies to the Lycan right-clicking him. Man, I mean, the whole fight started off really well again. Jerax a little out of position, gets initiated on, gets picked off. But you really saw the tankiness of Medusa in that team fight. Envy actually does nothing against her. Like 60% of the damage, I believe, that is dealt to Medusa is just like flat reduced off the top. That's before armor reduction. So all the benefits of Chaos Knight are not there against Medusa.
But how do they still bring her down? Like, what was the strength of OG, of Fnatic, that actually made that work?
4 heroes. That's what it took.
That's it.
A lot of damage. You need a lot of raw damage or mana drain to deal with Medusa. That is the way to beat her.
Well, being able to do it once, doing it again may be a little bit more difficult. I say once. She's died twice, but when that Skadi arrives too,
way tankier.
Yeah, way tankier. Also a lot harder to maneuver. How many times have you used in a reality rift? So here we go. So this is the Deucer.
It did help that she stood in the trees there.
Yeah.
Then all these melee. Okay, that was really just like illusions.
This is Eternal Envy dying to the minions.
Yeah. Not much he could do at that point when he was TB committed. But yeah, that was actually a lot of Medusa's positioning. Standing in the trees, all the melee heroes are running around trying to hit her, but they couldn't. So that helped. But I think the biggest thing that's killing Fnatic right now is this Halberd purchase on Dragon Knight. He had his great early game. He got the Assange almost immediately, and then all of a sudden he's got a Halberd and he needs a BKB. And there's been so many fights that they've tried to engage on, or times he's just been glimpsed back. If he's got a BKB, he can help decide when to take good fights. He can't be punished as much. Yes, he's not as strong, but man, he made a huge mistake grabbing this Halberd this
is a really quick Roshan. Whoever wins this fight is going to absolutely love it. Deucer, Dragon Knight, Invis, a double Burrow Strike into a back wall. The Storm might cause a couple of problems, however, they maybe not. Envy, will the attack actually bring him down? He's on the run in the middle, but the Stone Gates locks them all in. Seb doesn't have a life. Envy drags him back in and will bring him down with the help of Arbeck. A 4-second time to S4. 2 heroes from OG are gone. The perfect Darkseer back wall, and OG were fighting themselves as well as Fnatic. And with that quick Roshan, they moved so fast there, Fnatic.
That was an insane fight for Fnatic there. They're all grouped up. They were able to put the full brunt of their heroes on 2 heroes that they needed to burst down. And the BKB on S4 did give some space because he was able to get his ultimate off, but there was just way too much stuff there to deal with. And they actually weren't able to keep Seb alive for once.
Okay, Jirax, I know you want to have a bit of a quick look in there. Back, pull him over.
He really wanted that one. That one felt worthy of his life in this case, but Aegis stays on Envy and Fnatic lives to continue the game. Now the gold is pretty even.
Yeah, that's a bit of a swing down. It hasn't been that much of an up and down game as far as net worth goes. Just feels what's been more effective with the items. Like having N0tail having this very fast push to work with S4, having the Deucer who just seems immortal has worked wonders, but everything's a little bit more better distributed across Fnatic's lineup.
Yeah, and again, they're finally getting to the place where they can take team fights consistently. With the Black King bar finishing on Abed in a short period of time, in fact, it's flying out right now. Now is when the team fights get really hard for OG.
It's going to get worse. They just had 2 fresh Observer Wards deep watered, both caught out by Fnatic. So, vision-wise, OG are dark. on the dire side of the map. The only thing they have is the creep waves for vision.
Honestly, it feels like OG really need a gem this game. Like, every single team fight is beginning with Abed scouting out the enemy team using his Shadow Blade.
Stun, they found a target. S4 out of position, he can Yule Scepter. No, he can't. Stun holds him there.
And that's what's setting this up. Stun into stun, that's the only way that OG is losing team fights. So if they just have some vision advantage, that means that they can make it nighttime, get some vision advantage, so you see the guy with the Shadow Blade or them with Observer Wards, and if you just control that, then they don't get to initiate on you in ideal terms. OG can take a straight 5v5, and then everything's gonna be fine, but now it feels like the game has been equalized a bit. And all the teamfight advantages from having a disruptor are kind of wasted outside of against supports.
Well, hello TP. Jirai's going to pop the nighttime as Armbed very quickly into that Shadow Blade. Wants a target, Envy moving very, very quickly with the Iron Shell on him too. They really would love to get a kill onto the Deuce of the glimpse away. DK says no to that one. Unfortunately for them, the wall locks him out, but they burn the Stone Gaze, so BKB for Stone Gaze.
I think that a very good trade for OG, considering especially that Death Prophet was dead, so more than worth it. And now OG can turn around and maybe try to take a fight. It's a little scary, but with BKB down on Abed, I think this is a good opportunity for them.
He does have that cheese, and into the Invis they go. Medusa, they track the Lincoln Spear. Only 2 seconds on the stun by Envy. It's a nice wall and storm from Fly. Without that BKB, Envy at least can break free with the back wall in the back lines. It's just too much chaos for OG to really get on top of. Once again, Seb becomes the priority target, and they get through him. Notal is now target number 2, running a long way north past the Roche pit. He just wants to waste time. Fnatic, they're not taking the bait. They go towards the mid lane. They look for the target. They go for S4. BKB. Defense is there from him, but they're going to go underneath the towers. It's a good double silence, and the Spirit Siphon will give him the life. Chaos Knight wants to keep this pressure up. He is low, but he's got the Aegis Immortal. They're happy. They're willing to take this kind of trade-off if they can make it work. And here's your stun. Burrow strike through. You'll hit the target now as S4 goes down, but under the T4 towers, the wall is nice from Fly, forcing the fight to continue from Fnatic, and I'm wondering who's really forced to do what. OG have lost so many heroes inside their base, and Envy pops the Aegis. This is it, as the tier 3 tower in mid lane will fall.
They just did not want to commit to that fully because they had dead heroes already. If S4 puts his ultimate down there, they would have been forced to disengage, but then he doesn't have exorcism. But him dying was maybe just as bad here, because now Fnatic's going to be able to get a Rax. They've been trying to fight back all game, but these little mistakes, especially great initiations from Fnatic, has given them all these openings. I really think they're lacking some detection here, maybe feeling a little bit overly reliant on having Necro 3 available.
They have to find a solution soon, OG. You may be one game up, but giving Fnatic some momentum and putting down into your own camp, heading to game 3 would not be what they want. They have to try and stabilize things.
The best way is going to be getting back to where they were, pushing out lanes, making sure that their opponents can't do these initiations. But with the BKB timings past at now with Fnatic, that means they're moving into their follow-up items, which is going to make them even stronger at team fighting. Almost a heart for Eternal Envy, and a Maelstrom, soon to be Mjolnir for Dragonite, means that he's just going to deal a lot of damage. And so far, Medusa just hasn't been effective enough. In some ways, it kind of feels like she needs a BKB, actually.
Yeah.
She's just getting chain stunned while being right.
She's not going for that, though. Quick buy says Aghanims.
This honestly can work as well, because if she does get unstunned for a second and she can throw a snake out there, every illusion dies, period. And they need to clear the Chaos Knight illusions, and then they need to kill the Tomb, and then they can deal with everybody else.
Yep. And they'll need that instant kill. Like, that heart is done on the Chaos Knight. More armor starts to arrive as well. This Darkseer is actually sitting on, okay, it's 42 armor. The Greaves, Shivas, Crimson.
Pretty good.
It's pretty damn good when Universe has the Blink Dagger and keeps getting a fantastic initiation against OG, but OG looking for their own.
He's got AoE Surge as well, so.
They're smoked up looking for that fight. Eternal Envy, the bait. The ultimate bait. 4 point, okay, with Armlet on, he cracked 5.4k HP on that CK.
But OG's got to find the right initiation. It's not easy for them to take this engagement. That's why they put S4 in the front line. They want to force Fnatic, if possible, to go on him. Because if he gets the BKB off, Exorcism off, with Yules and Silences and Spirit Siphon, that's when they can come in and turn fights. But they can't initiate easily outside of glimpsing people back into the engagement. So if Fnatic has good positioning, they should be able to weigh their BKB advantage.
Notal does not want to be on this bottom lane. He's going to Shivas quickly. Pop some fresh walls if you want to. He's overstaying the welcome. Courier, what are you even bringing in? Observer wants the Sunge. Well, the Burrow Strike won't connect, but they've got so many redundant abilities there for Fnatic. Redundancies. Notal will fall.
With the eggs on Sand King, his reach is so far right now. So easily get the pick off, and yeah, he did not read that movement.
They can force a buyback. Like 70 seconds on the sideline, DK wants to push in, they've got catapults with them. And OG, it'll be a hard defense. But the Mystic Snake bounce through. This will help out nicely with the Burrow Strike. They went in very, very deep. The Wall Storm, it's absolutely perfect now. Can they hold them there? Can they actually get their Stone Gaze off as well? Yep, here she comes. Fnatic, will they stand their ground? Universe couldn't get the wall down. He's stoned at the moment. Now the wall goes down, but OG, they're moving out. They're trying to play the distance. Tombstone will start to cause problems. Seb's going to take care of that one, but they've lost a Death Prophet. No Exorcism. Tombstone will be the trade-off. More Mystic Snakes, but they drag G-Rex in with her Reality Rift, who will fly away over the hills as the melee racks and the range racks under attack. Not as much as the Deucer. Envy and Arbet combo together. Deucer is falling. Deucer is almost fallen. Down to 20%. Make that 10%. Seb is down. He'll have to buy back to keep this defense going, but this is an expensive defense from OG. Can they get more? Glimpse is off cooldown, and here they do. They drag him back in again. They want Eternal Envy. The wall is up. The control needs to be there. Can't Reality Rip him out, but a Burrow Strike from DJ. Connecting on S4 as well as Seb. The split shot's doing its work, and No-Tail. He's into the lines, looking for the fight. Jirax doesn't want that. He needs No-Tail to bring down Envy, but this Crimson Guard, the control is so much, they just can't get through the shields of Fnatic. Maybe now as their shields start to wear off, they can do it. The slow is there from the Skadi. Universe tries to rebuttal that by searching him out, but once again, Eternal Envy is the punching bag of Fnatic. 5k HP makes it so. The Fnatic, they only lose one here, and they may even get a kill. Jirax, he's being stalked in the night, stunned up, pre-fired down, Arbeck claims him. Now Fnatic are willing to go home.
Mikkel's catapult is going to go for the, oh, the Glyph it!
No! The Glyph actually keeps that catapult alive! Are you kidding me?
Oh man, if they could have held that, that would have been regen probably to full, as long as they keep the lane pushed out, but at this point, OG just doesn't have damage. They can't kill any of these heroes. They just stand in the front, continue to go on the enemy, and it just always feels like OG's scared to fully commit. With the Crimson Guard and the Shivas and the Greaves, like, everybody just stays alive against Lycan. Lycan feels like he does no damage, and Medusa feels like she does almost no damage.
It's when you ask, like, you were looking at the Aghanim scepter from Medusa. She's now taken that off the table. She's looking at Butterfly, but I'm wondering if it's even Rapier territory. You need something stronger from this OG lineup. They're just not in that right spot. Speaking of that, the fact, stun, S4 initiating on No-Tail. Shiva's Guard and running as well, but this just means they go one by one, changing the targets. Seb in through the rear. The Storm is out, but it really just keeps the fight split up. You'll lose flight. No-Tail can't find a target, and now Seb's fighting up against himself. The split shot of Darkseer Illusion. They just want to run. The Jirax, not where you want to be. The Stone Gaze must be committed as Seb, he'll TP out. The Burrow Strike! DJ catching the escaping Deucer means a very dead Deucer. That's a next level play. That's a Deucer who is still very difficult to kill, but it's very difficult to revive when it's on cooldown. A 2-minute window opening. This should be Fnatic taking game 2.
Running straight down mid. I don't think Nightstalker's gonna be able to defend this, and that's it. Man, what a hard game for Fnatic. It was really an uphill battle. It looked quite bad till the mid game, but all of a sudden, OG was just falling apart there.